This video is brought to you by Vessi. So yeah, this week I watched the new Netflix movie, He's All That, starring future Oscar winner Addison Rae, Walmart brand Cole Sprouse, and directed by the man that brought us Mean Girls and Freaky Friday. It is the worst thing I've seen all year. I guess I'll preface this by saying I haven't seen She's All That, the original version of this movie. I do not think that's essential viewing for understanding this. All I know is that it's really just a remake where instead of a girl, it's a guy. The concept is that she's dumped by her hot boyfriend and has to revive her reputation as social media queen, yes, girl boss slay by transforming this absolute dork into the prom king. It's terrible. Remember that Noah Centineo movie Swiped? This is about as bad as that. I know that by the time I upload this, I'll probably be the 100th YouTuber to talk about it, but I can't help myself. This is a catastrophe that needs to be addressed this instant. At one point, she loses her sponsors, which I don't know how that's at all relatable for the audience watching this. Certainly wasn't relatable to me because this week's video was brought to you by Vessi. Something you guys might not know about me is that I really care about sneakers, and it's really hard to find a pair of sneakers these days that both look good, feel good, and keep you dry. That is until Vessi came along. Vessi sent me these shoes about a week or so before I went on this camping trip to Maine, and when I was there, a little bit of water leaked into my tent and destroyed this other pair of shoes that I brought. Not gonna name names. And so those were destroyed, and these were my only pair left. And they got me through the weekend. In fact, the next morning, I took the risk and stepped into a puddle with these shoes, the only pair of shoes I had left on the trip, and they stayed completely dry. They're made with Dymatex, which is this dual climate knit that keeps you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Not to mention they're also 100% waterproof, as proven, which makes them super easy to clean. I can wipe the whole thing under the sink and scrub all I want, and they're ready to wear immediately after that. Not to mention they're also sustainably made thanks to less material waste, less water waste, and no animal byproducts. If these aren't really your style, they also have the weekend sneaker, which is a much more casual look, also waterproof, and, you know, they just look great. I can wear these on a walk, I can wear these to a nice restaurant, to a meeting. In short, they're really just my go-to sneaker. Check them out in the link below and use my code Karsten to get $25 off your Vessi shoes. So, Addison Rae plays Paget. Now let's pause there. Paget. What the fuck is that name? And Paget is really just Addison Rae. She's got over 1 million followers, she's got sponsors, she's unbearably yet fascinatingly uninteresting. I saw a tweet that was like, Addison Rae is so brave for being a triple threat and not being threatening in a single one, which yeah, that pretty much sums it up. The movie does a half-assed attempt at making sense of her job by comparing her to her medical worker mom, but she just kind of goes into cartoonish detail about how miserable her shift was. It is kind of hilarious that a movie filmed in the midst of a global pandemic made sure to include a scene where the hip influencer daughter takes the time to brag about her income in front of her miserable medical worker mother without really justifying what greater service Addison Rae is contributing. I know I'm a YouTuber too, so this really isn't something to rant too hard about, but I'm just like, why is this at the beginning of the movie? The editing right off the bat is just so jarring and terrible. It's cut like a YouTube video, which I guess makes sense, but in the form of a film, it's just terrible. But after this, we meet the boy himself, the most annoying kid you knew in high school. He does film photography, he's super original and cool idea, and he wears a beanie and he looks like he smells terrible. He looks like he worships Anthony Fantano, really, that's all I'm trying to say. But then we're back to Paget. She shows up on set and she catches her boyfriend cheating on her, which is followed by the worst sound design and editing I've ever seen in a movie. Every time she throws the croquembouche at him, it sounds like a car crash. It's unintentionally hilarious. And let's not slide past the whole croquembouche thing. I'm pretty sure they wrote in her delivering this also they could get one line out there, that line being, you gotta respect it at that point. It's horrible, but we'll roll with it. It's around this time where you realize just how bad of an actor almost everyone in this movie is, especially Addison Rae. She's got this look about her where I'm like, are you a real person under there? Has anyone ever seen younger photos of her? Because I feel like she just kind of spawned in LA at age 16. She's still not the worst actor in this though. That title goes to Kourtney Kardashian. No idea why or how or who or when or what happened here, but she's in the movie. She's Paget's sponsor manager or something, and I literally think she was either reading the lines in her ear or she was reading them directly from the script in front of her. Point is, it's maybe the worst performance I've seen ever. Yeah, ever. I think my favorite scene is just a little later as Paget, is walking down the sidewalk with the guy's sister. Two really good things are happening here. One, Addison is supposed to be handing out these pamphlets, but her acting abilities can really only focus on one thing at a time, so she only ever hands out something when the person is to her immediate right. She barely makes eye contact, doesn't really see them coming towards her. It's the most robotic way someone can hand out a piece of paper, and I don't know why, I thought it was really great. Two, they're talking about her brother and about his interests, and she goes, does he like any movies? And his sister goes,
same thing. Everything's Kurosawa, Kung Fu, or Kubrick.
Oh my, that is a lot of K's.
So,
First of all, last place on earth I expected to hear a Kurosawa name drop. Second, what is this joke? That's a lot of K's? What are you implying? It's just a weird thing to say. No, I don't even know what to say about this. So anyway, eventually they hang out at this horse ranch thing, and it's awkward, but none of that matters. What matters is she falls off the horse into horse shit, and he starts poking fun at her, and then she just starts throwing poop at him. Just grabbed it with her hand and threw it at his face. I'm like, that's not a gotcha moment. You got poop on your hand. And she lets out a howl over this. This is the funniest thing that's ever happened to her, apparently. It's terrifying. What is your sense of humor where this is the kind of thing that makes you hysterically laugh? It's an incredible scene. What I really like about this movie is just how unsubtle the product placement is, an aspect of it that completely lets loose at this party scene, which, by the way, this is one of the scenes where the movie kind of just lets Addison Rae show off those crazy skills of hers by basically doing a TikTok dance on stage at a mansion party, and as expected, it's just really awkward. The people behind this movie are so tone deaf about the way people consume TikToks that they assume like a bunch of people standing around and watching her dance live is the same as people watching a TikTok. It's just awkward and really weird. But yeah, they're at the party and they talk about leaving, and one of them is like, what, you're saying you don't want free Pizza Hut? Oh boy, Pizza Hut, sheesh, how long do we got here? The scene starts with that and then ends with, of course, wait, can I take home a bucket of KFC first? I don't know about you guys, but I could really go for a bucket of KFC right about now. It really just feels like a movie full of checking boxes off, which is sometimes really fascinating to watch, the fact that zero effort goes into making any creative choices. For a movie about an influencer, it doesn't even bother to get half the tech right. Like, there's a FaceTime scene where they literally just composite the current shot into the phone screen, all within the same shot. Like, somebody call that one Twitter account, because this is perfect. The outfits, don't even get me started. I don't understand how something with the budget that this has ended up with some of the worst outfits I've ever seen in a movie. Most of what Addison wears is hideous in my opinion, but the real atrocity is dweeby Tom Cruise. It just reminds me of this tweet, you know? It's like they went into Target, which by the way has cool clothes, and they went with the worst kinds of t-shirts and chose the blandest colors. It looks like something from 2009. The people in Zoe 101 dressed better than this. Now this is all pretty much before you hit the hour mark of the film. The rest plays out kind of exactly how you'd expect it to play out. These two really hit it off. He finds out that this was all part of a bet. Her nemesis starts running for prom queen. Things get real good and then things get real bad. And I'm not going to criticize this for following a very successful and very universal structure for making movies. It works, but it just doesn't take that route into any interesting territory, believe it or not. But this is all to say that just when you think this is shaping out to be less of an atrocity and more of an average high school movie, the ending happens. The dance. There's a dance scene, obviously, and it takes place at what looks to be the worst high school dance ever. The gym has maybe 40 people in it, probably because they shot this in the middle of a pandemic. All the lights are on, the decorations suck ass. And what's the song they do a dance battle to, you ask? You wondering what that song is? It's Dance Off by Macklemore. My grandma is more in touch with pop culture than this movie is at this point. The movie stabs me in the gut super hard like 5 minutes later when Matthew Lillard shows up, and I'm like, not you. They give him this scene where he's a teacher and he's talking to some kid who's the DJ, and the kid's like, no, yeah, I do it all on my phone. And Matthew Lillard's like, you're probably making more tonight than I'll make all year. And the kid's like, yeah. I'm just like, again, what is this movie trying to do here with this and the nurse thing? It's acknowledging that times are changing or something, but it isn't actually saying anything clever about it. They're just like, yeah, younger kids are making a lot of money doing very little, and they don't expand on it. Just kind of leaves you going, yeah, guess that is the way the world is these days. And that's the entire movie. She does a slideshow, which apparently she prepared for at the dance, but that's the gist of it. I think my general takeaway from this is that I don't think the people behind this movie have any idea what's going on out there. Or maybe they know exactly what's going on, and that's scarier. It's like someone explained what it's like to be online to someone who's never been online before, and this is their rough vision of what that looks like. Because they aren't necessarily wrong, there do be ring lights, because no high school is like this, and if it's trying to be funny or be a satire, it's not that. Until it is, right? Unintentionally. Would I watch this again? You know, get a few drinks in me and absolutely. But man, what a weird fever dream this was. All I know for certain is that it's without a doubt the worst thing I've seen all year, and I hope Addison Rae gets an Oscar. So anyway, thanks for watching. Go watch this and form your own opinion, and I'll see you all in the next one.